Luke on Sherman TV here with Chris Millington. So a 0-0 draw. What are your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, well, a bit of context, I guess. First, Luke, I think let's look at the opponent. Sutton United, very good squad of players, just fresh out of the Football League. Off the back of winning the last 5 games, I think they've scored 10 goals in those 5 games. In a real good run of form, strong, good, physical, athletic team. So putting it into context initially, then we'll talk about the referee. Blew a lot, stopped the game an awful lot, so it was a bit stop-start. So when you put it into context, I think we've got to look at it going up against a team who are above us in the league, who are already in the playoff slots. Then yeah, all in all, not a bad result.
Just looking at that opening period, relatively even. Didn't create too much, but defended well when we needed to.
Yeah, I don't think Sam's had any or many saves of any significance, if any. He's had to do tonight. You'd expect him to be able to cope with, and the same for their keeper. To be fair, the shots we've had, you'd expect him to be able to save them. But on a difficult pitch with a referee that stopped starting the game and against a difficult opponent, it's always going to be the fine margins that decide the game. So one thing we didn't want to be was victim to switching off and falling short on one of those fine margins. I think the lads gave it everything. It was a good response from the Southend game when I believe we were poor. But again, in the league, the atmosphere around the place tonight is like we're struggling. I don't know. What the I don't know what the sort of we're not struggling. We're in a healthy place. We had a poor performance against Southend, which was off the back of 2 good wins. It was off the back of a very credible point away at Forest Green, and then we had very little recovery time, and we put in a poor performance against Southend. Tonight we've worked really hard, and in difficult conditions against a difficult opposition. We've got a good point. The game in the first half was fairly even, not a lot of control by either team. I think Sutton would have just shaded the territory, but maybe that was because they were playing a bit more direct than us. We were trying to play through, because I know on a night like tonight when there's zero atmosphere in the stadium, it's you can hear every shout, and I can hear that some of the fans want the ball going forward a bit quicker, and so do we. But we want it going forward with quality, because you can't play hoofball up to Billy Waters and expect to have any success. So we have to get it up there with some quality, and maybe that quality was lacking a bit first half. Second half, and in particular, I think Cookie did a great job for us. He offered us a little bit of physicality up top, and again, he's a striker. I heard 1 or 2 shouts that we no strikers on the pitch. Well, anybody who knows Jamie Cook knows that he's a striker. He scored 2 goals for us on Saturday, playing high up the pitch in those forward areas, and he wears the number 10 on his back. So if he ain't a forward, I'm not sure what people think he is. So he went up top, and his first action was to get hold of the ball up against a very physical centre half and get us territory up the pitch. So that works. And then from then on, from sort of 50 minutes onwards, we had a lot more territory and a lot more possession in the Sutton half, which is something we'd maybe struggled to gain in the first half.
Yeah, certainly a lot more lively in that second half. Created some decent chances, some good balls into the box, but just couldn't find the back of the net.
Yeah, we had some real good attacks, and on another day it would have been great to get Zach Emerson some minutes on the pitch, certainly later on. But he's a 21-year-old lad cutting his teeth in senior football, and on a night like tonight where every mistake you've got people moaning about it and shouting, "Take him off." I heard it when a number of players made mistakes. They want those players withdrawing from play straight away. It's not a game for Zach. He needs to be in a situation where he can build confidence and understand that mistakes aren't going to be the end of the world, because he's a young player who is going to make mistakes. We had it with Angelo when he actually made a good decision to play a ball back to his centre half. He didn't have a forward option, so he played it back to his centre half, and then he gets distracted by people booing him, which it's tough. It's tough to watch. You know, as a staff, we've been through it. I've been here 5.5 years, so I know what it's like this time of year when it's cold and a bit miserable. But for some of the younger lads, they need support. You know, we're the youngest squad in the division. We're fighting against teams with massive resources by comparison to what we've got. We're fighting against teams with bucket loads of experience by comparison to what we've got. And yet these lads go out and give everything. There's no lack of effort and no lack of commitment to put in a shift for the club. So, you know, they need a bit more support. You know, it needs to be a bit more of a supportive environment, and we've had it so far this season. I've been really grateful for the support we've had, and I've gone on record a number of times saying the away support is always fantastic, and there's been some really positive games at home where the fans have helped us through. But now it's winter, it's cold, it's wet, it's miserable. They might need to dig a bit deeper to help us out.
Of course, one thing that was good to see, obviously, Max Wright and Ryan Galvin both coming back from injury.
Yeah, both contributed and didn't look like they'd been away too long either. I thought Max added a little bit of pace and directness down the right, and Gal's touch was good and there straight away, which you want it to be, because in a game like this, you know, it can be a mistake that costs you. So really pleasing to have both of those back.
Of course, up next, it's a long journey down south to Aldershot.
Yeah, looking forward to it, and I said to the lads, they've given us a foundation to build off. You know, again, a little reminder, we're off a good couple of results against Woking, Yeovil, the point away at Forest Green, some really positive performances. And again tonight, when you put it into context and people think about it in a more rounded way, I think most of the fans appreciate that Sutton are a good opposition. They're not just going to come here and roll over and let us take 3 points, are they? They're going to come here and fight for every ball, every second ball, and that's what they did. And I wouldn't ever disrespect them by saying that we should just expect to go in and roll them over, and that'll be the same Saturday. But we're really looking forward to getting on the road and playing in front of the away support down at Aldershot, and we'll certainly be giving it everything.
Thank you.
Cheers.